Imagine falling asleep in the heart of one of the world's most mysterious civilizations, where sleep wasn't just rest, it was a gateway to the divine. But what if I told you that the ancient Egyptians may have had the secret to perfect sleep, one we've lost over thousands of years? Stick around, because what you're about to discover might just change the way you sleep forever. The sleep habits of the ancient Egyptians have remained a mystery for centuries. While modern society battles with insomnia and restless nights, these ancient people seem to have unlocked a natural, effective way to sleep. How did their environment, daily routines, and deeply rooted cultural practices help them achieve restful, restorative sleep? In this video, we will uncover the secrets of their sleep practices, offering insights that could help us sleep better today. Ancient Egypt, located along the banks of the life-giving Nile River, had an environment that shaped every aspect of daily life, including sleep. The Egyptians lived in sync with the rhythms of the Nile, its annual flooding, the shifting of the seasons, and the daily rise and fall of the sun. These natural cycles were not only essential for farming, but deeply embedded in their spiritual lives and sleep routines. The very landscape, with its hot days and cool, dark nights, created the perfect setting for restorative sleep. But here's the twist. What if I told you that the Egyptians didn't need modern sleep aids or fancy technology to get a good night's rest? They followed a sleep pattern that, for us today, might seem strange. They didn't follow the traditional 8 hours of sleep we aim for. Instead, they adapted their sleep schedule to the natural light cycles and their physical surroundings. And they believed sleep was a time to connect with the gods and the afterlife. Join me as we explore how their cultural and environmental factors combined to create a sleep system that could rival anything we have today. In ancient Egypt, sleep wasn't just about resting the body. It was a time for the soul to journey beyond the physical world. Egyptians believed that during sleep, their spirits could travel to the realm of the gods, to meet ancestors, and even receive messages from the divine. This idea of sleep as a sacred experience was deeply woven into the fabric of their culture. For them, dreams were not random, fleeting thoughts. They were seen as powerful messages, either warnings or blessings, from the gods themselves. While we see sleep as simply a time to relax or recharge, the Egyptians viewed it as an opportunity to connect with the unseen forces that governed their world. In their culture, the boundary between the physical and spiritual realms was thin, especially during sleep. Dreams were considered a way to access this spiritual realm, where gods like Horus, Isis, and Osiris could communicate directly with the dreamer, providing guidance, protection, or divine insight. The gods played a central role in shaping the Egyptians' beliefs about sleep. Horus, the god of the sky, was seen as a protector of the soul during sleep, ensuring it was shielded from evil forces. Isis, the goddess of healing and magic, was often called upon to protect individuals from nightmares or restless sleep, ensuring that dreams were clear and purposeful. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, was believed to oversee the soul's journey during sleep, guiding it to the underworld and protecting it on its spiritual travels. The Egyptians didn't just rely on their gods for protection. They incorporated divine symbolism into their sleep practices. It was common to see small statues, paintings, and amulets of these gods near sleeping areas to provide spiritual protection during sleep. These artifacts were believed to shield the sleeper from nightmares or any evil spirits that might disrupt their rest. Amulets and charms played a key role in Egyptian sleep rituals. The Eye of Horus, one of the most famous symbols, was often placed under pillows or near the sleeping area to ward off bad dreams and bring peaceful sleep. Egyptians also wore amulets made from materials like lapis lazuli or turquoise, stones believed to have protective qualities, ensuring that the sleep was not disturbed by negative energies. Sacred texts, particularly from the Book of the Dead, which outlined the journey of the soul in the afterlife, were also tied to sleep practices. Egyptians would often recite these texts or keep scrolls near their beds, believing that the words would offer spiritual guidance during sleep and ensure a safe transition between worlds. In addition, many Egyptians practiced ritualistic purification before sleep, washing their bodies, applying oils, and reciting prayers to prepare for the sacred experience of sleep. These rituals were seen as necessary to cleanse the body and mind, aligning them with the divine energies and ensuring that their sleep would be restful and spiritually enriching. By combining these spiritual beliefs with practical steps, such as amulets and sacred prayers, the Egyptians created an environment where sleep wasn't just a break from the day, it was a sacred passage that connected them to higher realms. When we think of sleep today, We might imagine cozy beds with soft pillows and cool rooms. But the ancient Egyptians had their own unique way of making their sleeping environment just right, and it was closely tied to their surroundings and lifestyle. The typical Egyptian home was built with ventilation in mind, especially since the climate could be extremely hot, particularly during the summer months. The houses were often made of mud brick, which helped to keep the heat out during the day and the cool air in at night. Egyptians understood that fresh air was key to good sleep. They often slept near windows or openings in the walls to let cool breezes flow through, which helped them sleep more comfortably. They didn't have the luxury of modern beds like we do today, but they used headrests, small curved wooden supports designed to elevate the head during sleep. These headrests were an essential part of Egyptian beds, making sure the head was properly supported while keeping the neck aligned. Another key feature of their sleep environment was darkness. Unlike today, where streetlights and electric lights are everywhere, the Egyptians lived in true darkness during the night. This was especially important in the hot summer months, when the sun didn't set until late, and sleeping in the heat could be unbearable. The Egyptians valued a cool, dark space to rest. To help with this, they often used curtains or cloth coverings to block out any light. In wealthier homes, the rooms were designed to stay naturally cool by keeping windows closed during the day and opening them in the evening when the temperatures dropped. This allowed the cool night air to fill the space, creating an ideal sleep environment. If we compare this with modern-day sleep environments, we see many differences. Today we have air conditioning to cool our rooms, but the Egyptians did it naturally by relying on breezes and shadows. However, unlike the Egyptians, we often face challenges like blue light from phones and computers, which can keep us awake. Many people also sleep with noise from TVs, traffic, or even bright streetlights. The Egyptians, on the other hand, valued silence and true darkness, which modern science says is essential for deep, restful sleep. The Egyptians didn't have the technologies we have today, but they were experts at creating the right environment for sleep, using simple, effective methods that allowed them to rest in a way that modern people can learn from. The daily schedule of ancient Egyptians was carefully crafted to ensure that they could rest properly, which played a significant role in their sleep quality. The Egyptians had a unique approach to rest, balancing their work and sleep hours in a way that helped them stay energized and healthy. The concept of rest was woven into the fabric of their daily life, allowing them to enjoy a peaceful sleep while managing the demands of their busy lives. One of the most notable aspects of Egyptian sleep patterns was the practice of resting during the hottest parts of the day. Given the extreme heat in Egypt, especially during the long summer months, the Egyptians would likely have taken a nap in the afternoon, during the peak of the day's heat. This practice, often referred to as a siesta in other cultures, helped them avoid the exhaustion that came with working under the scorching sun. After this brief rest, Egyptians would continue their work in the cooler parts of the day, before resting again in the evening once the sun set. Their main sleep period began after sunset when the temperature dropped, providing the perfect conditions for rest. Sleeping outdoors under the stars with the cool desert air sweeping through their homes helped them achieve deeper, more restorative sleep. Unlike modern schedules that often require working late into the evening, or dealing with distractions like screens and artificial lights, the Egyptians' natural sleep environment allowed them to unwind after the day's work and embrace a restful night under the open sky. The structured daily rhythm was not only about sleep, but also about achieving a work-life balance. Egyptians worked hard during the cooler parts of the day, with tasks such as farming, building or crafting taking up much of their time. However, their rhythm allowed for rest before and after their primary work hours. This balance helped them stay refreshed, mentally clear, and physically capable of completing their work effectively. By having time to rest and recharge during the day, they were able to focus more during their active hours and perform better overall. The Egyptians also understood the importance of adjusting their sleep schedule according to the changing seasons. In the summer, the days were longer and the heat was more intense. During these times, their sleep periods would have been adjusted to take advantage of the cooler nights and early mornings. In contrast, during the winter months, when the nights were longer and temperatures were more comfortable, they may have been able to sleep for longer periods. The seasonal variations in Egypt's climate played a crucial role in shaping their sleep patterns, ensuring they could rest properly no matter the time of year. This natural adaptation to the environment allowed the Egyptians to maintain good sleep hygiene and stay in tune with the rhythms of nature. By adapting their sleep schedule to the seasons, they were able to optimize their rest, which contributed to their overall health and well-being. The food the ancient Egyptians ate was important for their health and helped them sleep better. They ate simple, healthy foods like bread, made from grains like wheat and barley. They also ate lentils and fish, which gave them protein to keep their bodies strong. Along with these foods, they drank beer, which, even though it may not seem like it, helped them relax and unwind at the end of the day. These foods gave them the energy they needed to work during the day and helped them sleep well at night. The way they ate also made a big difference in how well they slept. Egyptians usually ate their biggest meals earlier in the day before the evening. This gave their bodies enough time to digest the food before they went to bed, making it easier to sleep comfortably. Eating too late at night can make it harder to sleep, but the Egyptians naturally avoided this by eating their main meal earlier. This healthy eating habit made their sleep more restful and allowed them to relax properly. Besides food, the Egyptians also used herbs like chamomile, mint, and hops to help them relax and sleep better. Chamomile is known for being calming, and the Egyptians often drank it as tea before bed to help them wind down. Mint was used to help with relaxation too, and people would either drink it as tea or keep it near their bed. Hops, which we now know are used in beer, were also used by the Egyptians because they helped calm the body and mind. These natural herbs made it easier for Egyptians to sleep without needing any modern sleep aids. The Egyptians' healthy food choices, the timing of their meals, and the use of herbs helped them create a routine that made sleep come more easily. It's amazing how their simple practices created the perfect environment for a good night's rest. In ancient Egypt, dreams held a significant place in society, and they were seen as much more than random thoughts that occurred while sleeping. Instead, dreams were believed to be a form of communication between the living and the divine. The Egyptians lived in a deeply spiritual world where every part of life, including sleep, was intertwined with the gods and the afterlife. Dreams were thought to carry important messages from the gods, ancestors, and even the spirits of the deceased, offering guidance, warnings, or blessings to the dreamer. This belief in the power of dreams was so strong that it became a central part of Egyptian culture and daily life. The Egyptians believed that dreams could provide a glimpse into the spiritual world, and many considered them a tool for understanding the divine will. In their eyes, these dreams were not just random images, but direct communications from a higher power. The gods, such as Horus, Isis, and Osiris, were often thought to be sending messages through dreams, guiding people in their personal lives or revealing things that might have been hidden in the material world. For instance, if someone had a troubling dream, it might be seen as a warning from the gods, alerting them to a potential danger or moral issue. Conversely, a peaceful or inspiring dream might be interpreted as a sign of divine favor or protection. Because of the high importance placed on dreams, the ancient Egyptians developed a system to interpret these dreams. Special priests and dream specialists were trained to analyze the dreams of individuals and offer their interpretations. These specialists were respected members of society who had the knowledge to connect dreams with spiritual beliefs and teachings. Their role was crucial, as they helped guide people in understanding the messages they received while asleep. The dream interpreters would often use sacred texts and religious teachings to decode the meaning of dreams, providing advice based on what the gods were believed to be communicating. This practice was not just about curiosity, it had a real influence on people's decisions, from personal matters to important state affairs. The importance of dream interpretation in ancient Egypt is evident in several texts and artifacts that have been discovered over time. One of the most famous of these is the Egyptian Book of Dreams, a text that includes various dream symbols and their meanings. The book was used as a guide for interpreting the meaning of different dreams, with sections dedicated to specific dreams about animals, people, or natural events. Some dreams were considered so important that they were believed to foretell the future, offering both warnings and opportunities. In many cases, these interpretations were taken very seriously and influenced the actions of individuals, from their daily routines to major life decisions. Interestingly, the role of dreams in ancient Egypt has a surprising connection to the modern world. Today, dream analysis is still a popular practice, and many people look to dreams to help them understand their subconscious minds. Modern sleep studies and dream analysis aim to explore the activity of the brain during sleep and understand how the mind works while resting. Like the Egyptians, many modern scientists and psychologists believe that dreams can reveal hidden truths about our emotions, desires, and fears. While the Egyptians believed their dreams were messages from gods, modern research focuses more on the scientific aspects of sleep and dreams. Nevertheless, both ancient and modern societies share the belief that dreams hold important insights, and there is still much interest in uncovering the meaning behind our dreams. Furthermore, the Egyptians' belief in dreams as a way to communicate with the divine is similar to how people today may turn to dream interpretation as a form of self-reflection. Many people use dreams to better understand their own inner struggles, desires, or unresolved emotions. This idea that sleep is not just a time to rest, but a time to connect with something deeper, is still alive today in many spiritual practices and therapies. Modern psychology, for instance, uses dream analysis as a way to help patients uncover hidden feelings or unresolved issues. Although the methods have changed, the core belief remains that dreams are important and have something valuable to offer. Looking back at the role dreams played in Egyptian society, it's clear that they were a vital part of their culture, just as they are today. The Egyptians didn't just see sleep as a time to rest. They saw it as a time for the soul to communicate with the divine. Dreams were messages, warnings, and guidance from the gods and ancestors, which is why so much emphasis was placed on their interpretation. In a way, this ancient practice of understanding dreams connects to our modern fascination with them. Just as the Egyptians relied on their spiritual leaders to interpret their dreams, many people today turn to therapists, dream journals, or spiritual guides for understanding the meaning of their own dreams. This connection between ancient and modern dream interpretation shows just how important sleep and dreams have been throughout human history. Whether through religious practices or modern psychology, the belief that dreams hold answers continues to shape our understanding of sleep, the subconscious mind, and the deeper aspects of human experience. The Egyptians may have been among the first to treat dreams as a serious form of communication with the divine, but their influence can still be seen in today's approach to understanding the mysteries of the mind during sleep. In the modern world, sleep science has become a field of intense study, with researchers focusing on the ideal sleep patterns and how we can improve the quality of rest. But what if we told you that the ancient Egyptians were way ahead of their time when it came to understanding sleep? Through their natural routines and close connection with the environment, they practiced sleep habits that modern science is only now beginning to validate. One of the most fascinating discoveries is that the Egyptians followed what is now recognized as biphasic sleep. This means they broke their sleep into two segments, rather than sleeping straight through the night like most people do today. The Egyptians didn't sleep in one long stretch. Instead, they would rest for a few hours after sunset, and then, around midnight, they would wake up. This wasn't due to any disorder or discomfort, but was a natural part of their sleep cycle. During this waking period, people would engage in quiet activities, such as prayer, meditation, or personal reflection. This break in the middle of the night wasn't seen as a disruption, but rather as an opportunity for connection with the divine and a time for the soul to rest spiritually. They might have even used this time to engage in family or community activities. This practice of segmented or biphasic sleep aligns closely with what modern sleep scientists are now discovering about natural sleep cycles. Today, we know that sleep is regulated by circadian rhythms, the natural biological clock that aligns with the Earth's rotation, guiding when we feel sleepy and when we are most alert. The Egyptians, living in close harmony with their natural environment, aligned their sleep patterns with these rhythms. They went to bed shortly after the sunset as the natural light faded and woke up in the middle of the night, once again syncing with the natural world. This early understanding of circadian rhythms allowed them to sleep in tune with the world around them, helping their bodies to rest and recover in a more balanced way than many modern sleep patterns do. Contrast this with modern society, where we are constantly battling artificial lighting, screen time, and irregular work hours that disrupt our circadian rhythms. Today, we often try to force ourselves into an unnatural sleep cycle, with people working late or waking up far too early for the body's natural needs. The Egyptians, on the other hand, embraced natural cycles, which allowed them to experience better quality sleep. Modern science now shows that sleep aligned with the circadian rhythm like the Egyptians practiced results in deeper and more restorative rest, which benefits everything from brain function to immune health. What makes this even more surprising is that the Egyptians didn't have the advanced tools or technology we have today to study sleep. Yet through their simple and natural practices, they intuitively lived in sync with their biological needs. In modern sleep science, there is a growing recognition of the importance of biphasic sleep and circadian rhythms, both of which the Egyptians followed without even realizing the science behind them. Today, As we continue to learn more about sleep patterns, we are uncovering the wisdom of ancient cultures. The ancient Egyptians may not have had modern science, but their sleep habits were naturally aligned with the rhythms of life, providing them with deeper, more restful sleep. As we struggle with modern sleep problems, perhaps there is much to learn from the ancient practices of those who lived long ago. In ancient Egypt, sleep was not just a time to rest, it was a sacred ritual. The Egyptians believed that how they prepared for sleep was just as important as the sleep itself. This focus on sleep hygiene made sure they were not only physically ready for rest, but spiritually and mentally aligned as well. Imagine this. After a long, busy day, Egyptians would perform specific rituals to cleanse their bodies and minds before heading to bed. But these weren't just simple habits, they were deeply rooted in their spiritual beliefs. Before sleep, many Egyptians would take part in ritual cleansing. This wasn't just about washing the body, it was a symbolic act to rid themselves of the stresses and negativity of the day. They believed that by physically cleansing themselves, they were also preparing their souls for rest. It was as though sleep was more than just physical, it was a time for spiritual renewal. After cleansing, many would engage in prayer, asking the gods for protection during the night. They often prayed for peaceful dreams and safe travels for their souls as they journeyed into the afterlife. But the rituals didn't stop there. Incense was often burned, filling the air with soothing scents believed to calm the mind. Calming music might also be played, perhaps using instruments like harps or flutes, creating a peaceful atmosphere that encouraged relaxation. These rituals were an essential part of Egyptian sleep hygiene, setting the tone for a peaceful, restful night. It was as if they knew that the environment and mental state before sleep were just as important as the sleep itself. But that's not all. The Egyptians also used amulets and protective charms as part of their sleep rituals. These amulets were often placed under pillows or kept near the bed to protect them from bad dreams and evil spirits. One of the most common symbols was the Eye of Horus, which was believed to ward off evil and bring good fortune. These amulets were not just superstitions, they were deeply believed to offer spiritual protection, ensuring that the sleep was peaceful and free of nightmares. The Egyptians took this so seriously that the use of sleep-related amulets was widespread, and many people even had personalized ones, depending on their specific needs or dreams. And then there were the sleep positions. Egyptians were not just focused on sleep in terms of rituals, they also cared about comfort. The use of headrests was particularly important. These weren't pillows like we have today. Instead, the headrests were small wooden supports designed to elevate the head while sleeping. This may sound odd to us, but these headrests were crucial for Egyptians because they helped keep the body in an upright position, preventing the head from resting directly on the ground. By raising the head, Egyptians also ensured that their necks were properly aligned, promoting better posture during sleep. It was a simple yet effective way to prevent discomfort or stiffness, which is why many Egyptians preferred them over soft pillows. All these practices, the cleansing rituals, prayers, incense, and protective charms, combined to create the ideal sleep environment. It was a mix of both physical and spiritual preparation that allowed them to sleep deeply and restfully, free from disturbances. But there's a surprising twist here. These practices aren't so different from what modern sleep experts recommend. Today, sleep hygiene also emphasizes the importance of creating a calm, peaceful environment before bed, just like the ancient Egyptians did thousands of years ago. The ritual of winding down, both physically and mentally, has proven to be crucial for deep restorative sleep. As we look back at how the Egyptians approached sleep, we can see that they understood more than just the basics of rest. Their sleep hygiene practices were advanced for their time, blending physical, mental, and spiritual techniques to ensure a good night's sleep. Even in today's world, we can learn a lot from the ancient Egyptians and the way they honored the process of sleep. Could it be that by following their practices, we might improve our own sleep? It's a question worth considering, especially when we see how their rituals have stood the test of time. In today's world, sleep has become a growing crisis. More and more people are struggling with insomnia, sleep apnea, and other sleep disorders that make it difficult to rest properly. The constant demands of modern life, work stress, screen time, and never-ending to-do lists have left many people unable to disconnect and unwind at night. In fact, it's become common to hear about the sleep deprivation epidemic, with millions of people facing difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. But when we look back at ancient Egypt, we begin to see that the Egyptians had a much more harmonious approach to sleep. And surprisingly, some of their practices could offer solutions to the sleep problems we face today. The Egyptians were far ahead of their time in understanding the importance of synchronizing sleep with natural light. Instead of artificial lighting and late-night distractions, they lived with the rhythms of the sun, aligning their sleep patterns with the natural cycles of the day and night. Their lifestyle embraced biphasic sleep, sleeping in two parts, with a natural waking period in the middle of the night for reflection or personal time. This split pattern, supported by the calmness of the night and the quiet atmosphere, helped them sleep more restfully. In contrast, modern society forces us into a rigid, 8-hour sleep cycle, despite many of us struggling to get quality rest during these hours. Our blue light exposure from phones, computers and televisions disrupts the body's natural rhythms, making it harder to fall asleep and enjoy deep rest. The Egyptians also understood the role of healthy diets in promoting restful sleep. Their meals, rich in natural foods like bread, lentils, fish and beer, provided essential nutrients without the late-night indulgences that modern diets often consist of. They ate their largest meals earlier in the day, leaving enough time for digestion before bedtime, preventing the discomfort we often feel when we eat too late. They also used natural herbs like chamomile and mint to aid in relaxation, something that modern medicine now recognizes as beneficial for sleep. Today, many of us consume too much caffeine, processed foods, and heavy meals before bed, contributing to disrupted sleep and restlessness. But perhaps most importantly, the Egyptians embraced mental calmness as part of their sleep hygiene. They used rituals to prepare for sleep, such as cleansing their bodies, praying for protection, and burning calming incense. These rituals allowed them to enter a state of peace and tranquility before sleep, helping them unwind after a long day. In our fast-paced, always-on world, this aspect of mental preparation is often ignored. The constant pressure of work, social media, and stress prevents us from fully relaxing before bed. We've lost the ability to create a peaceful atmosphere where our minds can truly rest. The Egyptians understood that relaxation and spiritual well-being were crucial for sleep, something modern society has yet to fully appreciate. What can we learn from the Egyptians to improve our own sleep? First, we can start by syncing our sleep patterns with natural light. This means reducing our exposure to screens before bed and embracing the quiet, dark nights that encourage restful sleep. We can also pay more attention to our diets, avoiding heavy meals and opting for foods that promote relaxation. The Egyptians' use of herbs like chamomile and mint is something we can still use today to ease our minds before sleep. And perhaps most importantly, we should adopt mental relaxation techniques, whether that's through meditation, prayer, or simply unplugging from the world for a while before bed. By integrating some of these ancient Egyptian practices into our daily lives, we can begin to reclaim the lost art of restful sleep. While we may not live in ancient times, the wisdom passed down through these practices is timeless. As we continue to struggle with modern sleep issues, maybe the answer is simpler than we think. Instead of looking to modern technologies to solve our problems, we may need to look back at the ancient wisdom of those who lived in harmony with nature and follow their example for a better night's rest. The ancient Egyptians were likely among the best rested people in history, not because they had access to modern sleep aids, but because they lived in a way that allowed their bodies to rest in harmony with nature. Their deep understanding of the importance of darkness, routine, diet, and spirituality helped them achieve restorative sleep. They didn't rely on the artificial light-filled environments that we do today. Instead, they embraced natural light cycles, used simple yet effective sleep rituals, and aligned their sleep with their circadian rhythms. These practices allowed them to sleep soundly and wake up refreshed, ready to take on the day. By looking at how the Egyptians approached sleep, we can uncover lessons that are still relevant today. The importance of darkness cannot be overstated. Just like the Egyptians, we could benefit from more natural sleep environments, free from the distractions of artificial light. Routine also played a crucial role in their sleep quality, something we can incorporate into our lives by sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. Their diet was another key factor in promoting good sleep, with a focus on foods that nourish the body and mind without overloading the digestive system late at night. And of course, the role of spirituality, with their prayers, rituals, and belief in the sacredness of rest, reminds us that sleep is not just physical but mental and spiritual too. As you think about your own sleep habits, consider how you might incorporate some of these Egyptian sleep practices into your routine. Could you use some calming rituals before bed to relax your mind and body? Could you align your sleep schedule more closely with natural light, or change your diet to improve your rest? These simple, holistic practices may hold the key to better sleep and overall well-being. In seeking better sleep, perhaps it's not technology we need, but a return to the rhythms of nature that the ancient Egyptians mastered. Their wisdom, though thousands of years old, still offers valuable insights today. Let's take a moment to reflect on how we can restore balance in our sleep practices and live more in tune with the natural world, just as the Egyptians once did.